Okay, let's get crack-a-lack and let's get down to business. So today I'm going to be taking a look at some color management and color balance. This is all kinds of imbalance. I'm going to try to take a look at staging and framing and storytelling, and then character design and portraiture and managing cute with creepy. So no longer a battle between cute and creepy, a synergy between cute and creepy. So I'm going to try to do all of that, which is like each one is an island of knowledge in and of itself because each one is like a theme. But I'm going to try to do that. But before we get started, really, really important announcements for anyone interested in owning a copy of Portrait Studio. You can own a copy now at almost 50% off on istebrak.com on the store page. It's on sale and will be on sale for another 10 days. So please take advantage of this. I don't distribute promo codes throughout the year, and I only have one sale or two sales like this tops in a year. One in spring if I do the spring sale, and one in October. The reason why I do October more is because October, by then we have done a bunch of new updates. We've really polished it, and that's why I want to do a sale on that, kind of just to celebrate it and have it out there. Springtime, we're still kind of formulating stuff anyways. December, there's a sale in December. It's not a big one, but it's just for anyone who wants to gift Portrait Studio or buy it for Christmas, or, you know, usually things go on sale in the holidays just to, because everyone wants, everyone's budget goes up in December if they get gifted or something like that. So I try to make that available for people in December, but this is as low as it'll go for a long time. So for anyone interested, it's going to be on sale for another 10 days. Patreon. This month there won't be a time-lapse video process on Patreon, but apprentices get an extra 10% off of Portrait Studio. So they get, I think, like 44% off, 45% off Portrait Studio for those who don't own it in apprentices. So for anyone who wants to be an apprentice and get something out of it, you probably will get Portrait Studio even lower, probably 15% on top of the 35 that it's right now. So that's just in replacement for the fact that I've been crazy busy. I have not done any personal artwork and have not recorded anything and not done any after-hours streams because I've been really, really tired and busy and sorting all the sales stuff out and all my classes and attending all the streams and a little bit of health issues here. So I haven't been able to just wrap my mind around a painting and create someone. It's been really hard. I don't want to add pregnancy, art pregnancy, to another thing, another list of things to do. I can't talk right now. So yeah, apprentices will get an extra possibly 15% off on top of the sale for the remainder of the month. So that's going to be one of the rewards for apprentices this month. And I think that's it for announcements. That always goes back to the announcements for the community challenges for anyone interested in joining a community challenge, getting portfolio work done, completing stuff that is on all levels of the creation process, so thumbnails, environment, gesture studies, reference studies, and building references. It's all a requirement for these challenges that are currently running. I will be uploading by tomorrow. I'm taking tomorrow off. Just to finish up everything for these challenges and finish and answer all questions and finish the briefs and bring out some resource packs, hopefully, for everyone. I will be uploading it and announcing it as well. So look out in the announcements tab for information and more details on the character environment, creepy creature integration, and the character environment integration challenge for pole vaulting. So those challenges are up right now, and they're due on Halloween, or due sometime around Halloween. Each will get a stream on its own. On the 31st, on the 30th, sorry, we will do the creepy creature design challenge meetup. I will upload an event for that very, very soon. So for anyone who's interested in joining in that live stream, that'll be up at 5 p.m. Eastern time on the 30th. And we might have movie hour for scary movies on the 31st with our Discord community. I don't know why I'm telling you guys because I don't even have invites for that, but I'm just letting you guys know who are in the Discord. We're going to have movie night on the 31st. Okay, so let's get started on the work. Alright, let me see. Yes, Titan. Give them 24 hours to respond and upload their references. Okay, but if you see anything in the moderation pool, the mod thing, before things get in, I don't know what it's called. It's just the window, the check thingy window. If you see anything uploaded there that's waiting to be approved and it doesn't have a reference with it, deny it and explain why you denied it. Thank you so much, mods. You're really just helping me afloat here. Stay afloat. All right. Color correction. My God. You have all kinds of trouble here. Okay, first question of the day. What's the light environment? Where the heck is all the light coming from? If it's a dim day, if it's, from what I see here, it's a very, very dim day, then start off with the color wash and the light environment value. And that's what I'm doing here. I am correcting some colors. All right, man, this is a big deal. I'm gonna take off my sweater. I need to roll up my sleeves. Okay, the only threat is you, Windows Defender. All right, because this is a big deal. I'm gonna be doing some lasso. I need my flexibility. All right, so I don't know what all this orange smoke is coming out of your cups. I don't know what it is. I don't know why it's there. It needs to go. What is it that you're cooking in there? What kind of like Asian orange are you cooking in these mugs that the smoke coming out of them is orange? It's steam. It's steam. It's just a steam. It's just the air evaporating, or the whatever happens when steam comes out of a hot cup of water. Then you've got these candy apples. They're just chilling there. I'm not going to judge the candy apples, but I'm just wondering why they're there aesthetically. But they're there. I'm giving everything its own little color. All right? No more floating steam that is like orange. Then I'm going to address any silhouettes. So the silhouettes in this case, this is a very, very big project we're doing here today. So everyone stay patient with all the lassoing. I promise I'll try to do this as fast as possible. Oh, Lord. Do a little prayer. Oh, lasso, God. I'm not a polytheist, so I probably shouldn't do that. Oh, God. Please help me. Give me a steady hand in my lasso today so that I can educate these noobs. Joking, I love you guys. Okay, so why am I doing a silhouette for these guys? Can anyone understand why these things need silhouettes? ¿Por qué? Okay, the more crap I talk, the more I have to edit later before the upload, so I should just get a hold of myself. I think my prayers have been answered. Oh, not really. As usual. Okay, so we're just taking it piece by piece. There's no sweeping brushstrokes needed right now. We color corrected. I don't know why you took it upon yourself to use these little accents of pink in random areas. There isn't really much of a sunset at the moment that you can really capture. They're in front of the light of the background. Excellent. So I'm going to use a darkened layer, and I'm going to use the interior cool color. Interior cool color. Okay. All right, they're over there in front of the light of the background. So now that I've selected these guys, all I got to do is deselect the interior from the exterior. And I've got my background selected. Now I can address why it's not bright enough. So I'm going to try to use Dodge Tool on midtones. Take note. And I'm just brightening the background color. So yes, it's an overcast day, but it's bright. I'm going to just try to find where everything is. Then I select inverse again. Now I'm selecting all the positive space, sort of. And I'm going to choose the environment color. Where do we find the environment color? On anything reflective, on anything that is allowing me to find the light source color. So there's a really interior dim color here. I'm going to use that to color correct. Okay. Any green is a blue green. Any pink is a purpley pink. Any reds are a very gray red or a cool red. Any yellows are a paler yellow. All right. Now we find the interior and exterior color. So this reflection on the ground here, I'm going to select inverse and color correct the background. This reflection here is a bit more pale while the sky out there is a bit more purple. So I'm shifting that sky out there to be a bit more blue. Okay, so now things are starting to make sense. Colors are starting to connect to each other. Select inverse. I'm gonna just keep my lasso preserved in case I need it. Okay, now I'm just a little concerned with what your color reflecting on each other. So any reflective surfaces, you're kind of just guessing at what's reflective and what's not. Instead of being so concerned with the cups reflecting on each other, and this weird pink, again, this just pink floating around on everything. Why not be concerned with what's reflecting on this granite countertop? Now that would actually be there. The red of the apple slice will hang out there, and it'll hang out a little bit longer because it's a refracted reflection. I don't know what to call it. And then we've got the surface of this table. Let me just see if I can guess my way around the selection. This Lazy Susan wood thing. This needs some reflection of the nearby sky, and that's the color I'm going to use to reveal the shadow of the mug on the surface. So by not painting behind the mug, I am casting a shadow. Okay, so you just take it in layers, you organize it. Always asking yourself, where's the light source coming from and what time of day it is? What's the temperature? What is the color wash? You guys always forget about the color wash, but I've been talking about the color wash for years. And if you just watch one of my videos, this isn't just me asking you guys to watch more of my videos. I'm serious. If you just watch one of my videos, you're not going to understand what it is that's priority and what it is that's just secondary when it comes to processing your light environments or your illustrations. By me repeating the color wash and what's the direction of the light source shows that it's an important question to ask, right? So watch more of my videos and give me some likes and shit. I'm joking. I don't think I've ever asked for likes. I think one time. I don't even know why likes are important. I just really wonder. I wonder. Good job on that reflection, but it's more of a shadow, and the shadow wouldn't really do that because this is lifted off the ground. So is this a green reflection? So this would be the shadow direction right there. And then there might be a little shadow like that for the remainder. So what do? I grab this color. Normal, opacity is low. And that's what I'm reflecting on that Lazy Susan thing. And the same thing out here. Okay, so that's a nice little cast shadow you got there. Then the cast shadow of the board also extends a little bit further. So I'm using darken layer and I'm just making this cast shadow travel a little bit further. It's covering the apple. The apple has its own little cast shadow as well. And I'm going to color correct some more. I'm going to zoom out. And because the scene seems like a dim scene, I'm going to capture. I love the way you did the tiles. Really mature tone changes here. I'm going to just start casting a shadow. The further we get from the light source, the more of a shadow that happens. Okay. This cup is a bit too bright. It needs to have I know this for something is reflecting from the cup out. That's you know, something is representing an interior light source on the cup. You have this tangent where the cup ends right almost at the window frame. It's just not good. You need to at least breach it or make it way lower. It's gonna be a long ass cup. Okay. So, okay. Merge that down. Then I'm going to just shift some of this stuff over into blues. I think this shift is really important. So take a look at before and after. So the interior got shifted over into cools. And I'm going to select this and select inverse and just shift this back into some warmer colors. Or at least back to where green looks green again. Okay. Then the cup, oh, I think the cup got shifted. The cup, it's okay, it doesn't much show. Being green, suddenly all this new pink is back. So, just going back and correcting all that pink that you've got going on. Oops. Everything's just getting its own color. Then the light source reflection from the outside, using a highlight on Dodge tool, is kind of just showing where all that brightness is sitting. Because that cast shadow needs to be a lot more blurry, by the way. It's a very soft shadow, light environment. I'm going to smudge away this reflection. All this brightness is traveling this way. I'll do the bounce light of the green later. I see how the shadow kind of extends and expands the further it gets. Really like the reflection of the apple, because the apple's right on the surface, whereas the cup isn't, so the reflection of the cup didn't feel right, because it technically would be down here. We have to deal with this and cast this shadow before we even get the image of the cup on the surface. Don't know what this is. Again, the cast shadow of the cup isn't wallpaper. Cast shadows are not wallpaper. Okay, then there might be a little bit more shadow on the cup, but that's if there's no interior light. If there is an interior light, let's say it's a white, yellow, fluorescent, or interior lamp or something like that, you really have to use that exact color like everywhere. I'm just doing it on a new layer. This all needs to be dark. See, we can't even consider this yet because there's just so much to do. This far area here right by the window doesn't get much light on it. Don't know what all this is, but if it's part of the surface of the table that is looking away from the light, the cube, then it doesn't get much either. And if this is the top of the table, let me use polygonal lasso. If this is the top of the table, then it'll get more light, which means I'm going to have to re-lasso. Bear with me. Shit, what am I doing? I'm only selecting the ground, right? Seriously, what the hell just happened? Alright, I'm deselecting right now. Alright, so that's the cast shadow I'm selecting. Very slow class today, I'm so sorry. Just bear with me. And this foreground stuff, which needs to be way darker, way too illuminated in your version. Then we are, again, what the heck am I doing? And that's it. Yep, that's it. This background value as a whole travels across the surface. Now I'm just trying to brighten that table as it gets some light in this lower area because it's just not directly reflecting. Won't be getting that much. It's a reflective countertop, so it should be getting a little bit more light on it. Sorry, those are some birds. Okay. So now the question is there another interior light source? Are there two light sources battling each other? Do we need to be doing this to the mug and also silhouetting it? Because just wherever the mug gets closer to the light source towards the top, that's what we are darkening. Actually, I can just darken as I please. Okay, so you see what happens when we're respecting the background value? This whole mug can get darker. All the mugs can get darker. We need a little bit more color correction because it's looking a little bit tricky now balancing whatever you might have intended with this window. The window is in the picture. The window, whether or not there was a bounce light inside the room, the window is still doing a lot for the painting. So you should be prioritizing the brightness of the outside world, which has a sun in it, compared to your measly indoor light source. What is more important to represent for a still life? The background of the sun, the room, the open window, or an interior light? If you had a little candle, it would help out a lot, especially a candle right here, throwing off some light on some stuff. This is a little bit cool, so I would shift this apple while still maintaining like a respect for the color wash. You can shift it over into a little orange or even gray it out. It's not really the best environment to show an apple slice. The yellow-white interior of the apple can be completely changed to a greener, more gray part of the interior, especially if it oxidized. The pink here is fine if it's a blue wash, but I would try to do a little bit more with that. And this cup wouldn't look so green anymore. It would look turquoise because of the blue wash. The green mixes with the blue and looks a bit more turquoise. So a little bit more here. So 0. And then a little bit more to blue. So you're getting all your colors back. You're getting all your objects back. So that's something you need to do. I really want to do it here, but it kind of just seems like a lot of work. I'll do it Okay, and this thank you note is just a little too bright. Feels like it's its own light source. Needs to be, it's a white value. A white paper. Not much light source, kind of a silhouette going on. And you have it a little bit too bright. Just desaturate it and shift it over into the purple of the light environment. Lighten. That thank you written on it is just a bit too demanding as a focal point. It's really, really, really finely written. I'd blur it a little bit. And then sometimes there's just a little bit of extra light around it. I wouldn't say the light source is strong enough to cause a subsurface scattering on the paper. She can always sneak just a touch in, just like a touch. Just like that, closer to that side. And then just erasing. And smudging, blurring. Oh shit, I'm just gonna smudge the, you see how I expanded the shadow of the handle of the mug? Shouldn't be that bright, I mean that sharp a reflection. And I'm just lowering the opacity of this subsurface here. Then the mug, I think the way you handled the reflection on the mug and the detail on the mug is just a bit too doesn't really reflect what a mug would be doing as a texture. Like it's ceramic, right? So it should be a bit more of wider reflection marks. There should be some reflection of the nearby room, so really pay attention to what you're seeing in your reference for that mug. And then you've got the background smoke from these mugs. Unless it's like smoke from something burning, we wouldn't see the steam in the background like that. It just doesn't show. Have you ever held your like steamy cup against the sky? You don't see it. You only see it when you hold it up against a black fabric or something dark. These power lines are a little too visible. That green is bothering me. I don't even know if I deleted the layer I had on top. Okay. And then I am going to select all of this interior. And because it's in so much shadow, I'm going to just wash a simple blue on top just for a last little check. So everything goes back to your main light source, and if you don't know what your main light source is and you're just there messing around with, you know, like tug of war between all these light sources, you're just going to end up with something messy. So I would recommend something like this for the equal dimness throughout the still life, and then erasing away at wherever I have light moments. Because right now, the light part of the mug is on the far side. We don't see it. So why are there reflections on the mug? Why isn't there any rim light on the interior of the mug through the handle, just on the far side? How about this mug? Right at the top of it, why isn't there any light? It just seemed like we turned off the light, right? This looks much better because everything is uniform. You have the really, really soft reflection of everything on the countertop. And everything seems nice. When you turn on the light, what are you turning it on? What are you responding to? So even as I made these corrections, and we're going to look at the before and after. God damn you, Photoshop. Even as I made these corrections, they're still not enough. Look at what you did before. Was that a sun back there? Nothing was balanced. And after, everything is balanced now. along this really overcast environment you have outside. But even then, so before, first, after, and then we turned off the light. This is a more mature light environment because you actually have everything in uniform and you've respected the first rule of the light source, which is the light is out there and there's a big cave in there, in here, and we are in the cave and the lights are off and we're getting silhouettes. So when you're not thinking in this chronological order in the way you organize your light environments, so this far area here has to be darker because it's just away from the window. See how the steam is now visible? Look at that. Isn't that pretty? And the steam, so I'm going to have 2 duplicate layer. And the steam is going to, so before the lights were off, after, steam is going to catch some light on midtones again. And it's just going to be a really nice little rim light on the smoke. It's not visible out here anymore because the smoke isn't visible against a white backdrop, but it's visible up here. The nice thank you note is not in the way, it's just there. You can redo some surface texture on the wood of the cutting block and then sharpen some shadows out here. But this is how I would correct your painting. As for your actual, you know, what was actually happening in your reference, I can't tell from here. Because the saturation you gave me made it seem like you have like a clash of the titans here between. I'm just diffusing this. The room is still getting lots of light. This block here shouldn't get that dark in these pockets. But yeah, I'm just working with what I have and basing it off your missaturated areas. And why does this look better even though we turned off the light? Because it's uniform, because everything is working in synergy. It's not going to look good. It doesn't matter what light source you have if things are not balanced. Okay, and then any questions at all? At Istebrak if you have any questions so I can find them. Maybe this blocky surface will reflect on the side and diffuse some of those shadows. And you can go ahead and, good thing I saved my fucking lasso, man. Sorry about my swearing. You can go ahead and illuminate out there a little bit more, just to make it that much more cozy inside. So that's how I would correct your painting. As for how you are, what you're doing with your reference, it's your choice, really. Objects in the, never mind, I'm going to leave it like this. Objects in the background are going to be a little bit blurrier than objects in the foreground. So I'm blurring this guy, I'm blurring this guy. The top of this little sugar compartment, whatever it's called, gets a little bit of light towards the top of that, see? And what light am I choosing? The sky color. That's the light I'm choosing here. And if it's traveling all the way across, then there might be a little cast shadow coming off the top part of the holder thingy. And I'm just going to dim that back into place. But I still have the values right where they need to be. Other details, so then the rim light and all of that, I can go a little bit brighter, grab my sketching brush and just, I'm going to just angle my thing, just throw a quick little rim highlight towards the top of this mug. Maybe towards the top of this one, the side of this one. Okay, just nice thick brushes. Yes, these are rim lights, so they can be made with lines, but just be careful. Don't go crazy with your lines. You guys never have license to do your lines. ever. So when you do get an opportunity to copy to copy a line in your references, do it with caution. Just assume that you are an addict and you're in rehab right now, and you just got to be a little careful. Not that addicts in rehab is funny, but it's very similar. Addiction to lines. The top of this really, really shiny apple can show where the cast shadow of that mug suddenly ended, which is like right there. Okay. So that's how I would correct it, and this is how I corrected it while respecting your interior light. Not sure where your interior light is coming from. If it was coming from any direction, half of this mug, or either half, would be bright. So this needs to be, it's a big cylinder and it doesn't glow. So there has to be a core shadow somewhere. This guy's core shadow needs to be present. Okay, there needs to be a different shadow pattern, and as well as the reflection pattern. This needs to be darker. There's a lot that needs to be changed if there's an interior light source. Does this warrant any rim light, or are the mugs too close to the viewer? I just did that, so that should answer the question. And then, is the perspective in this piece all right? Seems fine to me. Does smoke and fog take the ambient environment light source colors? Yes, it does. What's the shortcut for adding selection on lasso tool, please? Thank you. So lasso, shift to add, alt to remove. Okay, I'm just looking for more questions. May I see the before and after? One does not simply ask for the before and after. You'll see it when it's time. Yeah, the mood did change, yeah. Some loud burbs. It's not burbs, it's abu. Eyes balls. Alright, so no more questions, it seems. The up-facing plane of the bottom part of the green mug handle should have a fair bit of light on it. You mean right here? I'm kind of iffy about this rim light I added. Feels a little bit inappropriate. Maybe that's better. Did you mean right here? I think the light was right over there. Here, the mug starts hiding away some of the light, so we wouldn't really see all that much over here. But definitely something right here by the paper, maybe even on the paper. How do I know where reflection goes and where shadow goes? Do they land on the same spot? No. Reflection is, there's volume and there's space between you and what's receiving, between the object and what's receiving its reflection, whereas a shadow happens in the nearest proximity. So this mug, let's say point B, and then we have point A. Point B is farther than this surface, which is the receiving. Right, this surface here, so point B is that much higher, meaning its reflection is down here somewhere, or down here. Excuse me, but the shadow of point A is much closer because it's still within the canvas and it's pretty close to the surface. It's very packed. The cast shadow is on the paper, but it's very dim. It's not sunlight. It's a very dim, overcast, kind of like October, 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock. There is a shadow. I did have it. China cups would have been interesting as light can pass through that material, yes. And then finally I'm going to finish off with some foreground objects, a little bit bigger. Kind of create that space and then just darkening them. Accept and then darken them. Much better. That really tied the piece up together. Maybe you can like add someone's hand, like they're just, you know, their hand is just right there. They're just thinking, they got a sweater on. Oops. I really don't know. Just anything to add to the foreground to kind of complete the scene. Okay, as for framing, nothing much is happening out here. So you may want to bring in some simple, like, something to finish off and fill up this space so that it's not so empty. Just something like that. And then the interior is just a bit bright. Not too bright, just so that it's at least address the fact that it's the side. Just to close up shop and then blur it as it's far away. I still would think that you have some kind of picture reflecting on the mug. There needs to be something here. And this was all for the sake, this all happened because of one thing. Why was this room cooled down? One really big thing decided this. Apart from, because I ignored that you had an oversaturation problem in your before, and I decided against this really pale, ugly interior light that made no sense. I did it for the sake of the initial first choice ever made before time began. Where is the light source? Where is it coming from? What time of day is it? That's what made all of this possible. That's what made finding the perfect color for the mug here, perfect color for this, and the color for the apples, the orange here. The pumpkin, the damned pumpkin, the forlorn, forsaken pumpkin. It's all because of the time of day and what happened there. Okay. Istebrak, how would you get the thank you note to look less pasted on? I think it looks fine the way it is. Less pasted on, maybe because you don't have a cast shadow on it. Doesn't feel like there's any space for blocking some ambient light. That might make it a little less pasted on feeling. Any more questions before I move on? First, there was the light source. Yes, let there be light, which honestly, I think is some kind of indication that there is a God, because for some reason these holy books had it right in saying that nothing exists without light. Such an advanced thought for such an archaic time. I don't know, guys. Kind of just proved God exists. I'm not joking. I don't try to infer my beliefs on others, but some merit in it, I guess. Okay, just clean that edge right up. Blur it just a little bit. Blurring anything in the background. Blurring foreground. I recommend something here. Even if you just had a little candle, you can bring in all this wonderful, cool energy. I mean, warm light against the cool objects. And you can go crazy. You can choose something all the way up here because this is where light sources come from. And this is where you could have some like really nice, cool movement of light from one area. And I'm going to flatten it. Kind of have more of a positive light direction now. Everything is working together, and the way I achieve this is one large darkened layer with one value. Do you understand? That's how I did all this. One darkened layer, one simple darkened layer with a good cool value that was going to darken everything. A little less confusing, random explosions of pink, no sense of depth, objects in the foreground are darker, objects in the background are blurred and small, silhouette, no respect for your light source environment outside, respect your sun, and ask what time of day it is. Weird tangents here, glowing, fluorescent, super magical Sailor Moon thank you note, and everything's just glowing on its own. Weird fluorescent light coming in from the side that's really not doing much for the painting. Here you have something more concrete. And we just made one choice of many choices that we can make, but we made one choice to make it look more cozy since it's a cute little mugs and it's just a quiet fall scene. You got some candy apples, so you're hinting at like a fall aesthetic and stuff like that. You might want to make this far side brighter between these guys, but because that's the edge of the canvas, I really wouldn't worry about it. Okay. Do you have any tips for doing soft ambient lighting? No sharp cast shadows. This scene looks quite ironically depressing. If that's depressing for you, maybe bring in the candle so you can have that little bit of hope. I think you're reading the depressing out of the color theme. A lot of people are reading cozy and comfortable. A lot of people are reading depressed. So it's just all up to you from now on. All right, let's move on to balancing creepy with beautiful. All right, I could actually go get my rent before the bank closes. Okay, so what you have here is a rat girl, and the rat girl, crap, image mode, RGB, unlock, filter, liquify. What you have here is that you're trying to show that she's a cute rat person. A rat doesn't mean she has to have a very, very large nose bridge because you took away from her beauty. An overbite means that the chin is a little bit far away. The rat mouth you don't actually have to draw a rat mouth. You can just give her an overbite and that could be enough because what you're trying to do is balance the beauty. We need a nice balance for the septum. A smaller nose bridge and a less wide nose bridge, it's going to bring in the cute back. A higher outer corner is going to bring in the cute back. Good job on the stacking. And a surprised eyebrow would actually, like excited, surprised, would actually bring in the cute a little bit because eyebrows control a lot of where the innocence is coming from in a portrait. You can have the cheeky smile. You can have something like that. But the overbite should take care of a lot because using teeth and drawing with teeth, it throws off your values, your beauty a lot. You can also add the teeth but render them very, very blurred, hushed values. You don't want to overdo it. The open mouth all the way across is kind of throwing off a really bad feeling, and the really, really sharp edge in between the cheeks and the upper lip are also throwing off a bad feeling, like age or something like that. If she is a bit of a con artist or a Nancy type character, and she's a rat kind of, but she's also really cute, you can have just a bit of a darkness in her eyebrow brought down from the inner corners. Right, see how she looks a little cunning? If she's cute and kind of stupid, you can lift more of the upper eyebrows, of the inner eyebrows up to make her look more stupid or silly or kind of just kind of not present. Alright, so that's what the liquefy. See how the big nose was doing less for the rat face? And the way to kind of push the rat face is to just do one big sweeping motion like that of the lower half of the face, kind of exaggerating that overbite. So you have this really thick light gray lash line, and that's kind of making her eyes look less open. So to add to her beauty, which is her cuteness, which is how we're balancing cute with creepy right now, you want to open her eyes a little bit more. And then, see before she's kind of faded. And I'm just going to address some of the things that are making her look too creepy and some of the things that are not letting her look creepy. So the too creepy is the mouth. The mouth is wide, and then you've got the age line here that you don't need. You just need a simple shade to show that she's smiling. You really don't need anything else. You want to have a little bit of a shadow in between the eyebrows. Just like that, just to complete her forehead. You have no temple shadow, so a little bit of a form problem here you might want to address. Kind of using airbrush for everything, which is gross, but Gotta hurry up. Go get my rent. Finish off the shadows here. One thing that's making her look a little too old is the lower eyelid, but that's keeping her from looking beautiful. But what's keeping her from continuing to look creepy is that there is no like Tim Burton shadow under her eye. You can't have both. Okay, so you want to show that she's kind of evil. Just kind of a child, like a changeling. Reinforcing some edges because airbrush is ew. So she looks cute. She looks like she's up to something. Also a little bit aloof in her cuteness. But we've still managed to keep her looking like a changeling in that. I'm going to preserve that shadow on the underneath her eyes. The nose needs not to any it sounded like some sort of proverb or something. The nose doesn't need value sharing. That's not how you make something look creepy. But if you do outline the edges of the nose, it does make it look bad, which can be read as creepy. A little shadow off the brow bone can add to the dark circle effect. It's not a dark circle, but it's a shadow. A little bit of light under her eyebrows to add to the innocence, which goes back to the cute. So you're sacrificing some beauty aspects for the sake of the creepy, but not all of it. You're leaving some behind for the cute. You need that inner light on the corner of the eye. And that shadow just travels down off the cheekbones. And the mouth, which I'm just going to have to sketch in, is going to have that really defined upper, like that overbite. And then you need the value sharing for that dark part. And that's if the mouth is closed. If you are showing any teeth, you show them on the closed mouth. Just a little bit like that. And if they're closer together for the rat effect, then something more like that. For eyebrows, you can get rid of the eyebrows completely and bring in some creepy. So your light environment right now is not making any sense because I don't know who's brighter, her or the background. Usually the background should be brighter. You need some sharper edges between her and the background. But you can completely get rid of the background, I mean the eyebrows. And add to the creepy by not having eyebrows. And then use some makeup qualities, again Tim Burton, to bring in more shadow around the eyes. Another thing you can do is some reflection on the eyeball. Something like that. That adds to the cute, also to the creepy. A darker mouth adds to the creepy and the cute. There's just so many ways you can go back and forth between makeup and features and the eyebrow. Something a little bit more thin. And if you really want to exaggerate the rat effect, now she just looks kind of like a demon. You want to make it look more like a rat. You can just do a little bit of this. Really tuck in her lower eye. She'll still be very, very cute. But now you're talking caricature. You can tilt her nose up all the way. But do you see how we didn't use any age signatures because that's what makes things look creepy and uncanny. We didn't use both dark circles and you know, this, because now she just looks like an older version of herself. We kept the eyes big and kept them kind of tilting down. But we still enlarged the mouth wider than it should be for that creepy effect. Because a wider mouth, wider than it should be, reads as very, very creepy. Okay? And then we'll just look at the before and after. I think it's a little bit more leaning towards rat. Before, the thing that kept the rat look, honestly, was just the teeth. Everything else looked like a really, really bulky, kind of like a, not sure where you were going with the thick nose. Thick nose only does so much. It's usually, we leave it for male characters, big, bulky male characters. And then now I'm just bringing in the shines. And she kind of looks cute, right? And dainty. But she still has that immense caricature happening. You can leave a little edge here for where the laugh is, the smile is. Nose cast shadow. The nose is very big. Edge for the upper part of the chin. And then a completely black eye that's fully open and interested and curious and cute. Okay. And a tiny little hint of a tooth, if you have to. She is a girl after all. You can save that for the boy rats. Alright, so good luck with your drawing. I hope this kind of helped you steer in a better direction for your character. Good job on the stacking. Big props on what you did with the eyes. Careful actually with the volume of the eyebrow. You want to preserve that female kind of dome in the forehead. Really, really helps keep her cute. Nothing too bulky. And let the hair fall, as hair does, straight down. You can actually enlarge her ears, and that might help with the rat look as well, with a little notch on it or something like that. Maybe even sharp ears that are rat-like. And I recommend darker skin tones all around because a rat is dark. A rat has dark values to it. So, oops. Oh, for the love of God. Adjustments. Mode. RGB. Oh, that's select tenors. Not bad. Just make her a little bit darker. Alright. So, that's it for today. Thank you everyone for joining. I will see you guys on Tuesday the 9th. Please don't forget about joining the community challenges. They're very, very important, and they're the only ones I'm going to be having for a while. To purchase your copy of Portrait Studio, for those who want to take advantage of this sale, you can go to the store and purchase it from there. All my brushes are there as well. And if you want to join on Patreon, you can, to get some really different rewards this month. You can join as an apprentice or as a pupil or any of the lower tiers. If you just want to support, you can. I'm aiming for 1,000 patrons whenever that might happen, but it's my goal. It's kind of a difficult goal, but I'll get there one day, I think. Thank you everyone for watching and for all your support and for joining live. I really appreciate it. Please remember to turn on the bell beside my name on my channel page. Beside the subscriber count, because I think a lot of you aren't getting any notifications. Someone told me they were automatically unsubscribed by YouTube. I don't know how and why that happened. But it just did. I think it's because my videos are long and ads and all that stuff. I think YouTube just doesn't want to promote long video having ass channels. Thank you everyone for coming. Thank you mods so much for keeping everything humming. I'll see you guys on Tuesday. Bye everyone.